気持ちいいですか?
Yay.
You're happy for some reason. Oh, wait, I know why you're happy. We're doing an anime review finally.
Yay. I just had to do that.
At least you didn't go with the Don Sheen. Like, yay!
No. Why?
I'm just happy you didn't do that, yay.
You had to ruin it for me, like, right there.
Yeah, I had to be the killjoy for
You
you.
motherfucker.
I'm sorry, Yui, but I had to be. But you wanted the Froggy to be the killjoy?
No, anything with Froggy.
Oh.
Anything with Froggy.
I'm a little hurt.
I'm just hurt. I'm a little hurt. You should be hurt.
Okay.
Enough of our bullshit.
All right.
Let's get into this. So,
Tenchi GXP.
Tenchi Muyo. Eli, do you know how many people don't know about this anime? A lot.
I'm not one of them.
I would be one of them.
You be one of them, and we gonna kill you for that later too, Froggy.
Yeah, I'll find some of my exes and they'll teach them straight.
They'll teach you alright. But yeah, Tenchi Muyo. If you ever heard of this series before now, you will have some idea now.
I know plenty of harem guys that know about them.
Yeah, Tenchi Muyo. It's one of those animes, like, if you want to dive into the harem anime, and I use that term both figuratively and literally, this is basically an anime for you to get started with. It's an anime that's been going on since the mid to late 90s. It used to be on Toonami for a long while, and it was crazy popular in the East. They brought it to the West, like in the early 2000s. It was really high up on Toonami's playlist back in the day. It was right there next to Outlaw Star, Cowboy Bebop, Big O, all of those series. So it was that good of an anime.
Can't forget another one,
Rurouni Kenshin or Samurai X. It was that good of a series to be lined up to such like powerhouse animes.
And not only that, but to just find voice actors that didn't just say, I'm just gonna read these lines as crazy as I can.
Yeah.
No, they got voice actors that respected where this storyline was coming from. And yeah, I was moderately young when I first saw Tenchi, and I have to say, like, this was my first introduction to the harem craze. Not many people knew what harems were, but and people were afraid of the idea, as I believe, for a while, because even in Japan, it was kind of like a thing that you generically talk about that often.
Yep.
But when it did come up, it wasn't frowned upon, unlike over here where it is. So yeah, I sat down, I watched it, and I was like, oh my goodness, where have I been since I last watched anime? and the silliness that went into it. But this is not the original series. This is a newer. This is the middle of the road of the newer versions of the original Tenchi Muyo series. Yeah, this doesn't feature the original character of Tenchi.
Like the Tenchi Muyo series, before we get into that, the Tenchi Muyo series, as most people probably don't know, has had a wide variety of OVAs or original video animations put out over the years.
And characters.
And a lot of characters. And the thing is about them, they all take place in different different timelines. The concept is still the same. You have 15-year-old Tenchi Masaki, who happens to in his eyes, it's accidentally.
He was curious.
Mm-hmm. He accidentally, and out of curiosity, awakens a very ancient demon that's sleeping below his his grandfather's temple, and lo and behold, it is a demon. That they view it as a demon, but it's actually an alien from space. So space pirate alien, and so in comes the sci. Not only is this a harem anime, but it's also a sci-fi anime.
Sci-fi, fantasy, and mind you, it had mechs in here.
It had
mechs in here, for goodness sakes. I thought Gundam had interesting mechs. Tenchi had interesting mechs of his own.
And so the series we're talking about is actually a spin-off of the first Tenchi Muyo OVA that was delivered back in the 90s, which is titled Tenchi Muyo GXP. And as my friend Eli was saying here, it does not feature the title character Tenchi Masaki, but instead his very good close friend, his old buddy from high school, Seina Yamada. And Seina Yamada,
technically isn't.
What can I say about Seina Yamada, man? Seina, he has bad luck.
He got the worst luck imaginable. That's not bad luck. That's like giving Froggy an option to jump in the lake or jump through traffic.
Seina, the kind of bad luck. Normally, when some people say to you, "Oh man, you got some bad luck," Seina has bad luck that follows him around everywhere he goes. Like he's walking down the street 1 second, and all of a sudden, a car comes out of nowhere and just runs his ass over.
He can't barely even pick up a pencil without it snapping in his damn hands.
He can't even walk out his own house without his house roof crashing down on him. It's that bad of a luck he has.
I think you need to find another word for bad luck for him.
But that's what everybody summarizes. Everybody, even his own family, just opts it off as bad luck. But when you look around his house in the first episode, you see holes, you see cracks, you see water spouts everywhere. You just see. You think this family is poor when you see his inside house. No, it's just his damn bad luck that's making them seem poor. They have a nice store right. Is it right by the house or is it?
It's in the house. Actually.
It's in the house, but they make sure he doesn't go into that store. They tell him to use the back entrance, not the front, because when he uses the front, the sliding glass breaks. And I find that messed up because you got customers coming in and you just hear one person slide doing glass shards falling everywhere, and now you gotta sweep it or pick it up. And I just have to say, Seina is the most unluckiest person you ever meet. But
or is he?
I'm about to get that. That's the but. But when he goes to visit Tenchi because he feels like just so down on his luck, he actually gets an invitation that's meant for Tenchi. He gets invited to go to the GXP, which is the Galactic Academy for the Galactic Police Officers. And he's not supposed to go. It wasn't his. But his curiosity, like Tenchi's curiosity, gets the better of him, and he presses the button on this blank, flat tablet-looking thing, and he just gets swept away into this story of fantasy, pirates, and a whole lot of blasters. It's like invasion of the Tenchis.
It basically is. It is the invasion of the Tenchi. You got that right. And story-wise, like we said, this is a spin-off of the original Tenchi Muyo GXP. So there, at some point in the series, there are mentions to the original characters and the original cast.
They even make appearances.
And they actually make appearances. So that was actually a really good, for like longtime fans of the Tenchi Muyo series, that was a really good callback and really nice fan service to like, hey, you know, this may be its own thing, but we know where this series came from. And following along, Tenchi, not only does his bad luck follow him everywhere he goes, it also leads him into some very unlikely encounters with a whole lot of people, namely women. Seina meets a lot of women along his way.
Much like his friend Tenchi, Seina has this magnet that automatically, like every time he just smiles at a woman and they start off as saying, I'm going to beat you down, he's just smiling all the way like, why would you want to beat me down? I have this innocent looking face on, come on, can't we be friends? And out of nowhere, you see a couple episodes later, that same woman is either his friend or on his nuts. Wow. And you saying wow, Froggy, but is this the magic of anime?
This is it, Froggy. This is it.
It makes you want to watch it now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I'm interested.
Thinking of watching it now.
I'm very interested.
He very interested. It's like he has that erotic interest. Like, yes, go on.
He wants to know if the teasing is gonna go beyond just teasing.
It's like, come on, just a little more, Tell me more.
Let me see if it's dead. If I could, let me see nipple. I can see Froggy like standing there, standing in front of his laptop, like Moses, like, let me see that ball. Just trying to just separate the shirt just to see that. It's right here
God.
too, and yes, we have the DVD pack right here, and Froggy, he's just staring at it, salivating for it, like, you wetting your lip right there. You got white there, Froggy.
I'm sorry, excuse me.
So yes, Tenchi, this spin-off, there's multiple spin-offs of the original OVA. There's been War on Geminar. There's been Tenchi Universe. There's been Tenchi Goes to Tokyo. There's been
a lot.
And even the current one, Tenchi AI, if I'm right.
I Tenchi Muyo, it's actually a pretty good series, but regrettably, it's only each episode's maybe about 5 or 10 minutes long.
At max.
But that series is pretty much getting its due because it's up to 40 episodes so far, and for the Tenchi series, that's pretty damn impressive.
And I gotta agree, Tenchi it has been a while since War on Geminar came out, and that was the last one that came out, and I believe it came out it was 2010, or was it?
About 2010.
Yeah.
And that featured Tenchi's half-brother, Kenshi. And he gets into the same situation as his brother does.
But it's not the same, because unlike Seina and Tenchi, Kenshi gets swept up into a whole different world. Yeah. He's not even in the same galaxy as the other two. At least they knew where they were going. Kenshi, he just gets pushed through a portal by Washu, and shenanigans ensue. And I call shenanigans. Washu are the famed scientist of the whole series. Like, she does some messed up stuff to this family, and when you find out how messed up things got with Washu and GXP, you would understand why it is funny as hell to watch this series, because the jokes work, the voice acting works, everything in this series works.
The animation, as far as everything else goes, how the characters are all detailed and drawn, it is amazing. The series is great. It's funny.
That ending though. That ending.
And it has one of the most mind-blowing endings I have ever seen.
Mind-blowing and public.
Mind-blowing and public.
It was that the ending is such a public moment that is not considered is almost considered a snuff porno for being as public as it was. It's just why they censored the crap out of it to a part when they brought it over here. But when you get the time, and if you want to dive into the harem genre, start off with the original Tenchi Muyo and work your way up through the rest of the series. It is well worth it, and you will get a firm grasp on the idea of what a harem is.
And if you never heard about this series before, there's no possible way, because as you know, Toonami, the popular anime TV block, which premiered on Cartoon Network, it ended years back, but it has been revived recently. To start off Toonami's new run, it actually premiered Tenchi Muyo GXP on its block, so there's no possible way that you couldn't have heard of this series. And I think that was a really good move in Toonami's block, because it was a way for people to get interested in the series itself. And yeah, that's as far as I can say. And since we're running low on time here, I'm gonna just go ahead and give my review. GXP, it's a good series, like I just said. It features a lot of characters, a lot of familiar faces from the old Tenchi Muyo OVAs. And if you have, and I'll say this, if you just want to get if you haven't heard the Tenchi Muyo series and you just jumped into it by watching this series, that's a good and a bad move at the same time, because the character Seina, he will make references to the old character cast from the original animation. And there's also a lot of references to Tenchi's family lineage as well that goes well beyond the spectrum of the entire anime that you have to go back to the original animation to find out what they're actually talking about, because Tenchi's family lineage, it is very extensive and
ridiculous
at the same time. And like I said, a lot of characters, funny jokes, awesome harem. Doesn't focus too much on fan service, and it does actually one thing about the Tenchi Muyo series. It is one of the very few harem animes that manages to find a good balance between drama, action, harem, and etchiness. It does a really good job of keeping a balance, and I'm gonna go ahead and give this a very nice front row seat.
I'm right.
And a tube sock.
Don't forget the bottle of lube. So yeah, from just to wrap up, from all of us here at the Popcorn Hounds, peace off, and yeah, we'll hug you later.